Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual webinar, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed by Simeon Moro, Vienna Live with Simeon Moro, and other third parties. If you do not wish to be recorded and distributed, please go to the LinkedIn Live video feed, the link to which I've just provided in the chat room. This show thrives on participant contributions, and all participants are encouraged to actively participate in this webinar by making comments and asking questions. To do so, please either write in the chat room or turn on your microphone and say hi. We'll be delighted to include your perspective in the conversation. Tonight, our featured guest is Douyé, a Los Angeles-based singer from Nigeria, whose new album, The Golden Sèkèrè, will be the subject of tonight's conversation. Let's have a listen.
Brave Indian warrior, since I first met you, I can't forget you, Cherokee sweetheart, child of the prairie. Your love keeps calling my arms enthralling, my Cherokee.
Okay, Doye, welcome. And please tell us a little bit. So I understand that you are well known as a pop singer. Tell us how you got into jazz.
Wow. Well, it all started with my dad. My dad's name was Landy, he's deceased. He died when I was 11 years old. And right from childhood, my dad used to always make me listen to jazz sitting by him. I mean, for hours, for hours. We will sit and listen from the instrumental, jazz to, for sure, vocal jazz. And that's how it all started. I took interest just listening. And from that, I developed the love for the art. And he had always told me that he envisioned that I would be a jazz a star. But I was like, that's just the father talking. But he kept saying it and he kept encouraging me. And that was uniquely different, for an African man. You know, I'm from Nigeria. Usually they tell you, oh, go study to become an attorney, go study to become a doctor. But here my dad was like, I hear a jazz sound in you. And he kept encouraging me. And that's how it all started. He was a beautiful father, a very beautiful father.
Doye,
You
and
know.
tell us a little bit about. So, was he himself a lawyer or was he a musician? What was his
No,
background?
not at all. He was just a fanatic for jazz. He loved jazz. He used to collect jazz records from all the greats. Um, my father was a military man, that was more like an advisor to the politicians then. That was it, you know. But there was this other side of his life that was just so embedded in jazz sounds. He was always listening to jazz for hours, you know, and that led me to really um, um, like take the interest in listening and wanting to understand the language and the values to jazz, you
And
know.
Doye,
So,
so when I first heard jazz, or what really stuck with me, I remember was listening to Miles Davis, "Kind of Blue." Was there anything that stuck with you when you were listening for those hours on end with your dad?
oh, all the beautiful greats. Frank Sinatra for sure, was like top in my head. Sarah Vaughan, um, definitely uh, Ella Fitzgerald, and Billie Holiday. Those were the four musicians that always like stayed in my psyche for some reason. I mean, I listened to a whole lot of them, but those four were like my teachers, and they're still my teachers. You know, in everything I do regarding this artistry of mine called jazz.
Okay, let's get into the album. Let's hear some more of that wonderful artistry. Here is "I Got You Under My Skin."
Mm.
I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart that you really are part of me. I've got you under my skin. Hey! Hey! I tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair never will go nowhere. But why should I try to resist when I know so well that I've got you under my skin? I'll sacrifice anything, come what might.
Okay, it's a party and everybody's invited. That's awesome. Tell us about this album and the idea behind it, Doye.
Gee. When I was 7 years old, one of those days when I was listening to jazz with my dad, he came closer and said, he made a statement. I don't have the statement in front of me, but thank heavens that I saved the statement because I made him write it out for me. And the statement is enclosed in the album. But, to cut it short, he told me, when I become a woman and I start to do jazz, he had wanted to encourage me to do an album that blend both world, you know, the Nigerian sound with the Western world jazz sound. And he even said, I envision it to be very challenging, but I know you have what it takes to do it. And okay, that made me to feel I felt good about it, but I was like, geez, how am I gonna tackle that? And after doing my fourth album, Quattro, which is basically a bossa nova album. I was thinking of doing another straight ahead jazz album. And then came my spirit, just came and said, you have to do an album that blends both worlds. And I remembered when my dad said that. Can I handle it? Can I really handle it? I mean, talk is talk, but action is the deal. So I was like, geez, I don't know if I can handle it. So I thought about it carefully. And the more it came to my mind, the more my spirit was like, yes, you can do it, Doye. So that's how this album started. And the way I handle music, I allow the music to come to me. I don't enforce myself into it. And so I started thinking about this idea so greatly. And the first song that came to mind was I've Got You Under My Skin. And I said to myself, geez, what else can I do with the song that Frank Sinatra did not do? I mean, he did everything, that anyone can imagine to beautify a song. And I was like, I don't know what else to do. But my spirit kept coming, like, you can do it. You can do it, Doye. So I thought about it and I said to myself, okay, to me, I've got you under my skin. I mean, it's written, by Cole Porter, but I felt the person that hold that song is Frank Sinatra. So again, my spirit told me I should go pay homage to him. So I drove all the way from Los Angeles to, I think it's called City of Cathedral, um, to visit Frank Sinatra. It's so funny. And I sat by him there and I told him my story and I told him, I'm looking to do the song and I hope he blesses me with all I need to do the song. And left there and never looked back. That's how all the songs were created. I'm just so grateful. It was a challenge, but it was good challenge. It was a very beautiful challenge. And I'm so grateful that the world really appreciates it. You know, I've never seen anything like it before. So I guess, my dad's words were very encouraging, and it paid off.
Wow.
That's how
Okay.
it started.
Wow. Okay. So before we continue, let's listen to some more of that combination that you said, Nigerian music and straightforward jazz. This is Afro Blue. I think very well apt to this discussion. So here we go.
Dream of the land my soul is from. I hear a hand stroke on a drum. Shades of delight, cold, cold hue, rich as the night, Afro blue. Elegant boy, beautiful girl, dancing for joy, delicate world, shades of delight, cold, cold hue, rich as the night, Afro blue. To lovers dance face to face with undulating grace. They gently sway then slip away to some secluded place. Shades of delight, cold, cold hue, rich as the night, Afro blue.
Yeah.
Okay, so Doye, now tell us about that making this incredible challenge. You said you first heard it from your dad when you were sitting with him listening to jazz as a young girl. I'm going to bring these two worlds together. How did you do it? You're the band leader. As I understand, when I first asked, okay, well, what's a band leader do? I was told, well, they pay for everything. So tell us how you made this whole thing happen.
Well, I sure paid for it, all of it, but I got engaged working with some beautiful musicians. They're all beautiful. I don't know how else to say it. I carefully picked each and every one of the musicians that partook in the creation of this album. From the Nigerian musicians, because I do have a lot of Nigerian musicians in this album, and of course the American um, jazz musicians. Um, the thing that I was looking for in musicians is to be able to have the vision and be able to carry the vision. And they all listened carefully. And it's like everyone was in tune, working towards the goal of achieving this. And, it was just beautiful. I don't know how else to say it, to be able to find the musician with the right headspace and not ego, because it's not about ego. It's about um, accomplishing a vision. You know, we're all instruments. We are not. I mean, you say I'm the forefront, but I'm just a vessel, really. That I don't know. God utilized to accomplish this goal. So there we have it.
And Doye, so tell us about how did the how do I say this the U.S. or American jazz people, how did they work with the Nigerian ones? I mean, it sounds like they're two different traditions. I imagine that's somewhat
Yeah,
what
two
your dad
different
was
worlds.
talking about. How did that, was it there a big explosion, or how did that
No,
work all come off?
everyone was open with everyone. Everyone was open um, to to meet this goal, to be able to accomplish this goal. So the idea was, it's not about us as the musician, it's about the vision for this project. And that was the beautiful thing about it. The American musicians were looking to learn from the African musicians um, uh, that are part of this project. And the African musicians were also listening to the American musicians and saying, "Oh, I see what they do there. Oh, okay, okay." So it was a beautiful blend. Everyone was working towards the same goal. Everyone. Like I said, there was no time of, oh, it's about the ego. No, it was about the art, that we were creating.
And
And
Doye,
that's how it turned out to be the way it was, the way it is.
and tell us about the instrumentation, the guitars. I love that electric guitar sound and the percussion. How did you choose? How did you know which instruments you wanted to be playing?
Well, just listening to the spirit of the songs. I do that quite a bit. I sit quietly and listen. You see, the songs they hold the power, it's not the artist. So I listen to what the song wants and how the song wants to be catered to. Um, so, just take for example Afro Blue. I heard that um rhythm. Na, 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 down, 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 da, na, 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 na. And I called the African musician and I said, play that. And he listened. He was like, wow, it's just so right. But I also told him, listen to the spirit of the song, and play what the song wants you to do, you know. And everyone was in tune with that, you know. So it was just a beautiful experience to be able to create this.
Wow. Okay, fantastic. Are there any questions, any comments? Please feel free to jump in. Okay. So let's go on to
Hi,
an oh there. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Davis.
how are you? That was really great. That's my kind of music from years and years ago. I was going to say, Sim, play me Fly to the Moon. You have that on the list. I saw it. I sometimes think I'm in the moon being so damn old.
Well, Dr. Davis, lucky for you and for me, it's coming up next.
That was really wonderful, ma'am. It was excellent. Good beat. You had good musicians there, and I could listen to that all day long and all night. Keep
Thank
up
you
the good
so
work.
much.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
thank
more than
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Let's have a listen then. Here it is. Fly me to the moon.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me play forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore.
So, Doye, now this brings us to our this is the how do I say the heady part of the show. This is the socio-political part of the show. So I'm going to read you my question. Doye, many of my generation were introduced to quote unquote African music through the 1986 album Graceland by Paul Simon. Today, ethnomusicologists consider Graceland to be a form of cultural colonialism, i.e.,
Mm.
Paul Simon profited handsomely from the musical innovations of African musicians while dealing with him as his musical inferiors. How is the Golden Sèkèrè similar and how is it different?
Okay. That's a complex question, by the way. But how is it similar? I would say it's similar in the sense that we both celebrate in African sounds. How is it different? I don't know about Paul Simon, but in terms of the Sèkèrè, the Golden Sèkèrè, the Golden Sèkèrè was done to celebrate culture, both cultures, in sound, in music, specifically jazz sounds. So I was thinking of my culture, and this is me living in America and already into the American jazz sound. And so bringing both worlds together, it's like a marriage and seeing, will this marriage work? The African, sound and the American sound, and seeing, I've never seen this kind of marriage before, but let's see if it works. And bringing them together and realizing, wow, this is so beautiful. This is an eye opener. This is a new outlet. This could be even a study, a research, that people can see and say, wow, okay, we've blended jazz with blues, we've blended jazz with soul, we've blended jazz with so many things. We've even blended jazz with classical, but we've not quite blended the American jazz songbook with African sound the way this is done. And so it's very interesting, it's very inviting, it's an eye opener, it's it gives people reason to feel, oh, so maybe that could be done, you know, to um to celebrate music, you know, instead of like what you said, profiting or whatever Paul Simon did, that is not Doye, I don't know. But you know, the vision that I had for this album was to celebrate culture in sound, in music, you know, and I will leave it at that.
Okay, let's do just that. And here is our final selection of the night. This is Speak Low.
Speak low when you speak love. Our summer day withers away too soon, too soon, too soon. Speak low when you speak love. Our moment is swift, like ships adrift. We're swept apart too soon. Speak low, darling, speak low. Love is a spark lost in the dark. Too soon, too soon, too soon. I feel wherever I go that tomorrow is near, tomorrow is here, and always too soon.
So, for our final question tonight, Doye, tell us if you were sitting with your father listening to jazz through the entire album, what do you wish him to hear?
The entire album. He wouldn't want to listen to just one. I'm pretty sure he will he will have loved to listen to the entire album again and again and again and again and again. His favorite song, um, where around midnight and I've got you under my skin. So I can possibly see him listening to I've Got You Under My Skin, both because there are two versions in the album. And I can just see him like picking it apart. He was an analyst, so he was always picking things apart, but it will have been good, in any way. It would have been good to have him. And I don't know, sometimes I look up and I said, I hope wherever he is listening, because all of this started with my dad. All of this, you know, and I'm so appreciative of him. Even though he's gone, I still feel his spirit, in my daily life, you know.
Doye, let's see how can we get this album so it's available now on Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
you can purchase it if you're lucky, even as a CD, like I have right here. So have all the details or purchase options. It's all available here. So you can buy the whole MP3 album, $9.49 on Amazon in the US. Audio CD, so you buy the whole CD for $16.99. like I did. So let me put it here. There is the link for anybody who's
Mhm.
interested to purchase the album. So, and let's see how we can stay in touch with Douyé. So here is her website,
Yes.
doyemusic.com.
Music.
And
Yes.
so Douyé, tell us what's coming up in the next anything exciting? Oh, and I see we can listen also to some of your music here.
Well, the year is coming to an end, and so I'm just relaxing. But definitely, by next year, I will start plugging in dates to perform. And I know you are based in New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire, by the way. Um, I hope to meet you someday in the near future. And, hopefully everyone here with us today. Um, I want to perform nationally and, of course, internationally. Um, so we still, yeah, we'll see what the future holds on that.
Well, we look forward to you visiting New Hampshire, and we hope it's sooner rather than later. I'm sure all
Later.
of our guests around the world, we have guests from every part of the world here tonight, and I know that they also want you to come to their part of the world. So then
Oh, how
it will
lovely.
exactly be what you're looking for. So the world tour will be happening. Doye, so people who, if they want to reach out to you with any questions, they can just write to you at this email. Is that right?
Yes, they can just do
Perfect.
that. They can reach me via here or they can reach me via my PR team or, whichever way. But I think this is good, because I get this immediately, you
Perfect.
know.
So just reach out to Doye with your questions, comments. She's happy to answer them, to listen to them. Thank
Oh,
you so very much to Doye.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative. Thank you. Thank you and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Doye. So thank you again to Doye. Thank you to Victoria and Frederick Mulligan and Agnieszka and Benoit Rivolet for their support of this show. Thank you to Mary Schlesinger for the lovely Viennese library you can see behind me. Most of all, thanks to you, our participants who make it all worthwhile. From New Hampshire, New London, New Hampshire, and Los Angeles, California, goodbye and see you next week.
Goodbye. Cheers. Okay, bye bye.